desk. I have two handhelds here. I don't know if you guys know this, but I'm like a handheld gamer. I love handhelds. I also have a laptop in the other room. Here is my Loki, and here is my Lenovo Legion Go. Of these two handhelds, the one I use more. Oh, I got this bracelet yesterday. We won't talk about that. Of the handhelds I use more, if I'm on internet, I use the Legion Go more. If I am not on internet, and instead I am stuck having to play on natively on the device using my Steam account and then syncing my save files later, I use more often the Loki. Loki is, as you can tell here, if I pull these both out of the cases, because I'm going to need to for this anyway. The Loki is like infinitely smaller. So here is my Legion Go. It's got a screen protector on it, so don't worry about that. And here is, pull this one out of the case as well, the AYN Loki. It's like the size of the screen, if you guys can't tell. I could maybe move my camera. I could move my camera, do something like that. I don't know where to put these. Look, we could put me down there. Fuck it, right? Let's put me down there. So you guys can see everything on my desk. Come on, but I have batteries under there. Don't ask no questions, bitch. So here we have two different handhelds, two different operating systems. This used to be a normal Windows handheld, but I have Windows hates me. Multiple computers I've had, Windows has borked, and I was forced to either install Linux or try to constantly reinstall Windows. On this, I didn't want to keep trying to reinstall Windows. I just gave up. So I installed Chimera OS. For some reason, I lost full compatibility in my RGB. So it's like a Steam Deck Mini, almost, right? I can show you guys what I mean here in a second. There it is, the Chimera OS screen. I should probably turn off the light, maybe. Oops. The main light is probably a problem too, because it's adding extra glare. My bad. So here we go, looking at the screen. I can turn down the brightness maybe. Oh. Turn down that brightness a little bit. A lot of bit, really. And there it is. So now you guys can see, it looks like, this looks like SteamOS, doesn't it? It's basically what it is. This is basically SteamOS on a non-Steam device, on a non-Valve device, right? You can just put Chimera OS, Holo ISO, Linux distributions on any gaming handheld PC now. And for the most part, they'll work basically the same as the Steam Deck, right? There are certain launchers that I'll have to try to get, like the Heroic launcher, and you can do the non-Steam games, which I don't do. You can access most of the same files, like all of the library that you can access on Steam. I don't know why this. I swear to you, this device is touchscreen. But most of the device stuff that you can access on Steam, you can access on here. Anything that is available on the Steam Deck, because these basically use the same operating system, you'll be able to use here. The main difference between this and a Steam Deck is just the power level and the size, because this thing is smaller than a Steam Deck, obviously. Slightly weaker, right? It's 8-core, 6-core, 12-thread, 660M. I don't know if you know what that means. The Radeon 660M is a weaker version of the Van Gogh GPU that's attached to the APU that is the Steam Deck. The Steam Deck is 4-core, 8-thread, so slightly worse CPU performance, better GPU performance. This I use a lot for small indie games. As you see, there's a lot of stuff on here, guys. I could go through showing you everything on here, but it's kind of blurry. Right, we've got Left 4 Dead 2. You guys see right over there, Gunfire Reborn. Maybe I could scroll over it. Yeah, Gunfire Reborn. We have Elden Ring Night Rain. So that's like one of the heavier hitters we have on here. There is a lot of these devices are very strong, right? 256 gigabytes of storage, not that good, but not very much. But the games that we'll run on here are games that really feel fit for the handheld feel of this. Windows has always had the problem of not feeling handheld first until now. For a little bit, the ROG Ally, the Xbox ROG Ally, had a version of Windows called the Windows Full Screen Experience on it that was only available on Windows. I mean, on the Asus devices, right? You could get it on the original Asus devices, the ROG Ally, the ROG Ally X, and then the Xbox devices, the Xbox ROG Ally and ROG Ally X. Now, you can also get it on something like your Lenovo Legion Go, or maybe even your Zotac Zones, your Legion Go S Window Edition. I'm not sure about the Zotac Zone. I don't fucking own one. But the first thing it does is it makes it so now when you want to log in, it gives you a little pin. Wish I could show you guys better. It's the screen is very bright, so unfortunately I can't show you very well with this camera. This camera kind of sucks for it. Maybe the other one will show you better. See, as you can see there it is. There's a little pen pad here, and you use the buttons to log in. I'm going to log in without showing you guys my login. All right, so now I'm logged in, and as you see here, now we have an Xbox forward-facing experience. Well, now it's showing you your Xbox library as integrated with Steam and Epic Games. Steam, Epic Games, GOG, there's a lot of integrations that you can have here. Personally, I just have Epic Games and Steam integrated. I don't even have Battle.net or any of those because those are the libraries I use the most. One downside of this is the ecosystem feels really good when you already have games installed. The ecosystem feels very funky or weird when you're first getting in, right? Like, so I have all these games already installed. But before you have all these games installed, you just have to go through here and get all your launchers. Oops, I wish I could show you. So this is the install screen of stuff you have to install. There's EA Origin, Epic Games, GOG, Steam. I wish this would zoom in or stop being so blurry. The Microsoft Edge browser, and then I think that's Ubisoft Connect down at the bottom. Yeah, it's Ubisoft Connect down at the bottom. So, and then Battle.net, of course. So all of these things are your launchers to get access to all the PC games you have across your multiple libraries. When you're using this device, it feels good after you've installed everything. If I were to hard reset my device, wipe everything off of it, and then have to re-download and install everything, it wouldn't look this smooth. It would not look like this. You would not see this many games ready to go, ready to play with the press of a button. And you play them through their launcher. You log in, or you press the button, you press A, and then it takes you to that launcher, boom, and it logs you in. I can show you guys what I mean by this. So it's going to be upside down for you guys, unfortunately. But let's say we wanted to play Lost Castle 2. You have two options. You can hit play right there. You could hit C in Steam. Luckily, this device has a touchpad, so I can, as you guys see the little mouse moving there. The Windows full screen experience does allow the controller to be forward facing, and the way that works is because you have buttons that are excess. You can like open tabs and stuff and move them off to the side. So what I can do here is I can go play. I can also hit C in Steam. So it's launching the game, and then C in Steam. Eventually, it will open Steam. See, so there it goes. Steam is its own separate tab. So if I hit this button and hold it, you'll see that now Steam is right here, but then here is the Xbox Manager. Right, so now it's opening Steam. Here it is. It's launching Lost Castle 2. And Lost Castle 2 will also be its own page. So there's... Oh, okay. Thank you. You don't got to be so fast. Well, okay. It's launching Lost Castle 2. Well, so we can close this real quick. I can show you guys what I mean. So if you hold the button, we're launching Lost Castle 2, as you see there. There's Steam, and then there's Steam Special Offers. You just press X to close something you don't want to be in. You press A to be inside of it. The Windows desktop is accessible by just going down, scrolling down to the bottom, and then pressing Windows desktop. So it'll take you to the main desktop. Say you have things like OBS on here because you like to stream off of it. It's like your main PC. When you're using it at home, you go to the Windows desktop, you plug in your keyboard, you plug in your mouse. It acts like a Windows PC. Xbox One screen experience for when you're using it mostly as a handheld. This UI, though a little clunky, it's not too bad. You can even use the LBRB to scroll through these really fast, right? So say I have another launcher open as well. Let's go. I want to go look at the Epic Games launcher and see what games I have installed in there, which, I mean, you'll see them all here, but just for the sake of brevity. We just hit C in, it's Fortnite, and we just hit C in launcher, and it takes us to the Epic Games Store. Now, the Epic Games Store does not have controller compatibility. So on a device like this, you're going to be using your trackpad, or you're going to be tapping on the screen. For all these devices that have, let's hit cancel, screw that. So for all these devices that have, I hate updating stuff. For all these devices that have a trackpad, it works the best, right? And then a scroll wheel on the back. So Legion Go is great for this. But the ones that don't, you're going to have to be using the touchscreen a lot. Right? And now, so I have the Epic Games launcher open. I have Lost Castle 2 open right there. And then, of course, the Xbox launcher and Steam, right? So I can close any of these and then just reopen them when I need to get to them. I don't know what happens when you close the Xbox launcher, TBH. So I just never close it. I'm not really sure what happens. I haven't tried to find out for science. So we close out these launchers if we want by just pressing X, and it'll just close them out, just like normal. Even games, right? If we want to get out of a game really fast, just press X. It'll close the game. I don't know if you guys heard, but there was noise. It just stopped all on its own. And now it took me back to the Xbox launcher because I'm no longer attempting to play a game. I think that's very cool. When you have Wi-Fi and everything set up, which you would do by going here, and then I think there is a options menu somewhere. Oh, I think you actually have to set it up using this. Yeah, you would set it up using this. So when you press Wi-Fi here under the Legion space, Wi-Fi and Bluetooth are here, you click these, it actually just pulls up the Wi-Fi tab like that. See? But you can, it's controller forward, it's controller first. You're allowed to move around through all these with just your controller. I think that's very cool. When you press B, it closes it out. The start button is more options that lets you see it in the store, on the quick lens, or play it instead of having to click A on it. So it does basically the same things that it would do if you pressed A on it, right? Except for manage extensions. I guess there's probably some world where if you have emulator set up and you have them set up through Steam, your emulated ROMs will also show up here. I'm not a big emulator guy, so I am the wrong person to ask. But I do think the Xbox full screen experience, though it doesn't feel complete, it doesn't feel like a full experience, it is a long way towards making Microsoft Windows feel like a gaming first operating system. It also uses apparently less RAM on this full screen experience version than it does on the desktop version because it turns off certain features that you don't need on the desktop unless you go into desktop mode. When you go into desktop mode and then go back to the Windows full screen experience, all those Windows optimizations that are turned off when you initially launch through the Xbox full screen experience first, turn off. You lose all those optimizations, you get all the Windows bloat back, and if you go back into the full screen experience without full resetting the device, you will be using that extra RAM, right? But if you just play your game straight through this is the most gaming forward feeling you can get from a Windows handheld. Right, outside of using something like Launchbox or Steam Big Picture Mode, or there was one other one that I used to use. I can't even remember the name of it. It was a play. I think it was called Playnite. Playnite was very interesting. It had a bunch of different extensions and themes that you could use and sounds, effects, so that you can make the device feel your own. This doesn't really seem like you can make it feel your own. I don't see any themes or anything, but you have access to the Microsoft Store to be able to, of course, get Microsoft games, top paid, top free. And then you can access any other storefront by just going to those pages, right? You also have Game Pass for those people who are Game Pass aficionados, Game Pass enjoyers. I'm not. I don't really fuck with Game Pass, me personally. But this is a great feeling and feels a lot closer to something like this Chimera OS / Steam OS feeling handheld. They're very similar now. This could be what you need if you want to keep your device Windows focused, the Windows full screen experience. If you need something like Fortnite compatibility, Call of Duty multiplayer compatibility, things like Battlefield 6. I don't know if you're really going to be able to run Battlefield 6 on most of these current handhelds at anything other than like 40 FPS, 720p. But the fact that Windows is moving in a direction where they're making it more accessible for different forms of gaming, not just desktop gaming, is great. Because I remember there was a time where Windows 8 felt like it was made mobile first, touchscreen first, as if it was made for tablets and phones. Now we have variations of Windows that are less bloated, that, yeah, there's a cat right there, you guys can see Molly, less bloated and feel like they are a reasonable countermeasure to how strong Steam Big Picture Mode, and Steam OS is when it comes to gaming. Because there are certain compatibilities, unfortunately, Steam OS just doesn't have. So I have two different devices. If you ask me which one I use more, even with this new Steam Big Picture Mode, or I'm sorry, Windows full screen experience, great value Steam Big Picture Mode. I still use this device more when I'm not on Wi-Fi, like when I'm at work, when I'm out and about in town, if I'm going for a walk but just want a quick dose of gaming, I use this one. It's smaller, it's more portable. This same device could easily have the Windows full screen experience on it, and it wouldn't feel any different then. except for the fact that Windows is just more bloated, right? So if you are playing at home a lot, playing at a friend's, that friend always, all your friends got Wi-Fi, you're playing at a coffee shop, you're out and about in places that constantly have Wi-Fi service of some kind. I think this is the best way to do it, because I will say the Windows full screen experience does one weird thing I don't like. Sometimes it doesn't aggregate all your games if you haven't hit a network. I think it's very strange. It happened to me a couple times when I was at work, and it made me turn this device off or actually open Legion Space and play through Legion Space. I shouldn't have to do that. I hit the Legion Space button. Now Legion Space is loading, right? And then Legion Space still aggregates all my games, even though I'm offline, right? When I use Legion Space, I'll use this device. But if I want to use the Windows full screen experience, I have to just put this back in my bag, turn it off, put it in its case, and then boot up this little guy that has the Chimera OS Windows SteamOS experience. I'm sorry, the SteamOS or Chimera OS experience. Ergonomically, I mean, whatever. You can put these on any handheld, so it doesn't matter. It's mostly about trying to decide which feels better for you. Do you need those Windows compatibilities for your anti-cheat games and games that don't generally run on Steam OS or Linux? Then you are going to be looking towards, unfortunately, having to stay in the ecosystem of Windows, but trying this new template that goes over. If all of your games work just fine on SteamOS / Chimera OS, Bazzite, Linux distros, I would say try converting a spare micro SD card, I mean a spare SSD if you have one. I know they're getting really expensive, over to something like Chimera OS, Bazzite, or even the official SteamOS distribution now that it's available on multiple different devices because it's been on the Lenovo Legion OS. You can use that installer to get it. I think that this is a good step in the right direction. I'm really happy that Windows is attempting to do something that feels gamer focused. For a long time, when they've really been ruining optimizations of gaming with how bloated Windows 11 feels. There's tons of things in here we don't need. The Copilots, the Microsoft Teams that comes on most computers with a fresh install. All of the different processes that are running in the background when you open Task Manager that don't feel necessary and just eat up crucial resources that stop your games from running as smooth. This Windows full screen experience is a big help with that, and it being controller focused and relatively bug free is a great feeling when it comes to Windows compatibility. Finally, we have something that can start to rival SteamOS / Steam Big Picture mode. Do I think it's the perfect solution? No. Do I think it's polished enough to get everything started at Vita, feel like you don't have to jump ship and go to SteamOS if your games need Windows compatibility and you use anti-cheats? Yes, I think that this is somewhere you can finally stay. This is a reasonable middle ground that feels worth it for most people. I like it. I'm a big fan. If I had to like choose between this and this, if I had to score both, right? Not the devices, just the operating system experiences. A solid, 7 out of 10 for the Windows full screen experience when I'm only using the Windows full screen experience. It's a 10 out of 10 knowing that with the hold of this button, I can now go down to the Windows desktop and do any Windows processes and applications that I need on one device. It's almost like dual booting. It feels like dual booting without dual booting, right? Because you have this gaming focused, Xbox oriented, controller styled experience, and then you hit this Windows desktop and it opens up your desktop just like that. You're allowed to scroll down to the bottom. You have all your Windows Explorer and your File Explorer, your Microsoft Edge, but then you still have the Xbox app, and all you have to do is push this back into a full screen mode by hitting Xbox mode up here. Let me see if I can do it. See, and it says restart or start now, no performance changes. Boop. So now it just pulls you right back into it. No performance changes. When you restart, it stays optimized. It feels like the most cheater version of dual booting possible, because you still have all of your compatibility and you don't have to completely restart your device and get a whole new operating system and have two different partitions and learn any of that. You just play in the game mode when you need the game mode. You crack it up on a stand, or you put the kickstand back. If you have a device with a kickstand, you plug in your keyboard and mouse and use it as your productivity machine when necessary. I think that, altogether, it's a solid 10 out of 10 when you put those two things together. The desktop experience on a lot of these that don't have trackpads, or even if they did, I don't think the Steam Deck's perfect when it comes to its desktop mode. You're really using it as a game forward device. 9 out of 10 for the game forwardness of Bazzite, Chimera OS, Holo ISO, SteamOS. 9 out of 10. Almost perfect experiences. That compatibility with the end cheats is what stops me from giving it the extra point. And it doesn't get the extra point in its non-compatibility when it comes to the desktop version. The desktop version, the KDE or whatever it may use, does not feel as good. When Linux just doesn't feel as good to use as Windows does when it comes to standard desktop things. I don't think Linux is replacing Windows yet. It's getting a lot closer, and especially for gamers, it's getting a lot closer. But if you really need that compatibility, you know where to go. You know what to do. I didn't even have to do anything major. Lenovo actually pushed out an update that put the Windows full screen experience on the Lenovo devices. So if you have a Lenovo Legion Go, Lenovo Legion Go S, or a Lenovo Legion Go 2, and you haven't turned it on in a while, boot it up, see if there's an update that just allows your device to have this Xbox mode or Windows full screen experience off the cuff. Set it to start through that and try it out for yourself. I'm just one guy. I love gaming handheld devices and computers in general. I have like 5 in my apartment, and I'm one fucking guy. I don't need as many computers, but I love PCs. I love computers, and I love gaming. So being able to game across multiple devices, multiple platforms, and they have very similar feelings now feels really good. I love that. Anyways, I just wanted to yap about the Windows full screen experience. I haven't really gotten to the swing of talking about stuff on YouTube again. I probably rambled a lot, but if you liked my rambling and you think it was pretty cool, you learned anything here, maybe you decided you want to pick up one of these devices, or you have one of these devices that are gonna throw some Chimera OS or a Linux distribution, or use it's opening my Discord. I hope I don't leak anyone's DMs. Or you're going to use this Windows full screen experience. Cool. Go ahead and like the video because I inspired you. Subscribe to the channel. I'm hoping to hit 1,000 subscribers eventually to make that mucho dinero on YouTube. And this has been Beanie Thuggish talking about the Windows full screen experience, my experience with it so far, signing out and saying